fourth grade into math lesson 11 module review. Vocabulary. Choose the correct term from the vocabulary box to complete the sentence. When two or more fractions represent the same number of equal parts of the same sized whole, they have a what? Common what? Common denominator. You can use a blank to divide the numerator and the denominator to find an equivalent fraction. Common factor. Okay, so concepts and skills use multiplication and division to generate an equivalent fraction. So they don't necessarily give you a common denominator, right? You can just pick one. So can we do 10 as one? Okay, so how did I get from 5 to 10? Times 2. So what I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So what is 2 times 3? 6, right? Okay, we can just come up with another denominator. What if we use, what's a multiple of 4? 8. Okay, how did I get from 4 to 8? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. What is 2 times 2? 4. So 2 fourths, 4 eighths is all equivalent. What is that? Those equivalent to? 1/2. 1/2 if I simplify, right? Okay. Now they want us to get the fraction into the simplest term. Okay. So what goes into both 4 and 8? 4, right? Okay, could I have done 2 as well? Yeah, but would it have been the simplest? No. Okay, so what I do on the top, I also have to do on the bottom. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, and 6/10. What factor goes into both 6 and 10? 2, right? Okay, over here for 4, I could have done 2 or 4, right? Okay, this one only has one factor that goes into both, right? Okay, and it's 2. So what I do on the top, I do on the bottom. 6 divided by 2 is what? 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 3/5. 6/10 is also equal to 3/5. Number 7, use tools. Nate and Tamika have 2 same-size canvases. Nate paints 5/8 of his canvas blue. Tamika paints 7/12 of her canvas blue. Who paints more of the canvas blue? Tell what strategy or tool you will use and explain your choice, and then find the answer. So let's go ahead and put a line so we can put the name and put because. Okay, and then we have Nate, who is 5/8, correct? And then we have Tamika, who is 7/12. What would be a common denominator for both of those? I could do 8 times 12 and get what? 96, right? But then is my number really high? Yeah. Do they have a smaller common multiple than 96? Yep. 24, right? Okay. So I can put 24 from my new common denominator. Okay, so how do I get from 8 to 24? Times 3. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So Nate's 5/8 is also equal to 15 24s. Okay, how do I get from 12 to 24? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I also do on the top. 7 times 2 is 14. So Tamika's 7/12 is also equal to 14 24s. So what did they want to know? So this is what we needed to find, right, guys? We should have probably underlined that, right? And then we also should have probably circled our stuff that went with each other, okay? So they want who pays more. So which fraction is more? Nate or Tamika? Nate, right? Because 15/24 is greater than 14/24, correct? Okay, so number 8, we need to compare those. We have 2/3 compared to 1/8, okay? Now, we can either do benchmarks or we can do common denominator, right? Okay, so let's look. What can we do here? So can we get a common denominator? Okay, what's my common denominator? 24, right? Okay, so how did I get from 8 to 24? Times 3, what I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, how did I get from 3 to 24? Times 8, what I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 2 times 8 is 16. So 2/3 is greater than 1/8. Okay, let's do benchmark on number 9. So what is half of 6? 3. So this is 3/6. What is half of 10? 5. So is that already half? Yep. So 2/6 is what compared to half? It is less than half. So 3/6 would have been half, right? Okay. 5/10 is half. So 2/6 would have been less than half. Okay. Can we do the same thing for number 10? Yeah. So what's half of 12? 6. So that's already half, right? Okay. What's half of 8? 4. So we could do 4/8 for half. So is 3/8 greater than half equal to or less than? Less than. So 6/12 is greater than 3/8. Okay, so 11, write the pair of fractions, or write the pair of fractions as a pair of fractions with a common denominator. So what's going to be my common denominator for these? So I'm going to have 1/4 equals something and 5/6 equals something. What's going to be my common denominator for both of those? What is a multiple that does 4 and 6 knowing 2? Or sure. 24. I could do 24, right? But I could also say 4, 8, 12, 16. I could do 6, 12. What did I just say that share in common? 12. Instead of having to get such a high number, right? So how did I get from 4 to 12? Times 3. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 3/12 would be 1, right? How did I get from 6 to 12? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 5 times 2 is 10. So 10/12. Okay, so we have 3/5 and 4/10, and they want a common denominator. Do I have to change both of those? No. Okay, so which one do I not have to change? The 4/10. 4/10 I can just keep. 3/5 I need to get 10 in my denominator spot. So how do I get from 5 to 10? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 3 times 2 is 6. So 6/10. So 4/10 and all right, write the fractions in order from greatest to least. Okay. So what do I need to get maybe as my common denominator? What do you guys think? In this case, can we get common numerators? And would that maybe work better? Yeah, okay. So we can get common numerator. So I can have 1 third equaling, what's going to be my common numerator? 6, right? 6 over something. 3/10 equaling 6 over something. And 2/8 equaling 6 over something. So how did I go from 1 to 6? Times 6. What I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So what is 3 times 6? 18. Okay, the next one, how did I get from 3 to 6? Times 2, what I do on the bottom, or on the top, I do on the bottom. So 10 times 2 is 20. And then on the next one, how did I get from 2 to 6? Times 3, what I do on the top, I do on the bottom. 8 times 3 is 24. Now, most of the time when we compare the numerators, we look to see which is bigger and smaller, right? Okay. In this case, with the denominators, which is going to be bigger? The smaller number or the bigger number? The smaller number, because then there isn't quite as many pieces, right? Okay. So they want greatest. Which one's greatest? 6/18, right? Which was 1/3. Okay. What is the next larger one? 6/20 or 6/24? 6/20, so 3/10. And then our last one would be 2/8. So remember, when you guys convert fractions like that, when you go back to list them and things like that, you have to use the original number, right? The original fraction, okay? Number 14, which fractions are equivalent to 6/8? Select all of them that are the correct answer. So let's divide first. So 6/8 divided by, what goes into both 6 and 8? What are factors of 6 and 8? 2, right? So divide by 2. I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So letter B. Would letter A work? Okay, so then if I had 6/8, what is a multiple of 8? 16 or 18? 16. So this letter F could not be a choice, right? Okay, so we said 16. How do I get from 8 to 16? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 6 times 2 is 12. So letter E. So would C or D work? No. Number 15, Mariah and Ken make sandwiches that are the same size. Mariah eats 2/3 of her sandwich. Ken eats 8/12 of his. Did they eat the same amount of sandwich? Use multiplication to explain your answer. Okay, so let's do the visual model real quick first. So this is Mariah and she ate 2/3, right? This is Ken and he ate 8. So I'm going to go and I am going to fill them in so they look somewhat similar if I need to compare. So what do you notice about those? They're both equal. So I have 2/3 compared to 8/12. Do I need to change both of those fractions? No, I only need to change this side and get a new denominator of what? 12, right? How did I get from 3 to 12? Times 4. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 4 times 2 is 8. So then we would have seen that they were equal there as well.